Let me thank the Center of Bhutan and GNH Studies for allowing me to speak here. I feel very honored, but I don't feel humble. Yes, this is a real life businessman, and if you want to shout at me, if the shouting are too much, you will find me walking out with you to the door. I'm going to try to do my best to explain what economic policy, what good economic policy can change the quality of life that we are facing. Obviously, since the end of the last Cold War, we were expecting a better combination of economic mixed economy. We were hoping that our life will be improved and all that so on. And here now we are on the verge of having a second, or if not already having a second Cold War in front of us. I'm a student of Max Weber. To explain a little bit about him, he's the father of sociology. He's a German. He lives about 110 years ago. I read his book 52 years ago when I was in England studying business, but they somehow bring in sociology into the curriculum. And 52 years later, I can tell you that I owe my life or my way of thinking, my way of doing business to this particular subject. So I really encourage you to have a look at them. I don't have the book here, but if you go into Google and punch in Max Weber, M-A-X-W-E-B-E-R. Max was trying to pinpoint that the most important thing about world happiness, community happiness, village happiness is a strong family. You must first have a strong family. This is the most important ingredient. He pinpointed two kinds of family, the extended family and the single family. Some of you might call it nucleus family or nucleus, right? Is that the word? Yeah, that's about it. Extended family is the original form of family where we live together in the village, where parents, father, mother, son, and nephew living together and all that so on. Of course, in that particular kind of circumstances, you have the warmness of the family together, and you have a security in life. You feel, because you know that if you are alone, you might get hurt. You might not be. Somebody might still be stealing things from you or whatever. So you're alone. So the extended family giving you this so-called security in life. And of course, it's a very good environment for child raising, because the children was born and surrounded by, father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, and all that. And this is a better way of socialization the children. But when it comes to single family, the value of single family at that time, 52 years ago, when it was first written, when I was on his first book, he pinpointed that the advantage of the single family is that it fit the modern time. The modern time where you need to have a family where it has agility to move according to where the industry is, where the work is. And then it comes to have a freedom, because you actually live together in such a big family. You tend to fight together, and you tend to have problems with your kin and all that so on. So this is a good opportunity to go single and then between husband and wife and find yourself a nice life in the city and get away from the village life and all that. But of course, I think the final goal is quite clear now that the single family do not sustain. When you put people together in such an environment of not so many thousand square kilometer, you put 10 million people in that place, as against coming from an open field, open kind of atmosphere and all that so on. One can see today the kind of quality of life that people living in the city as against the people who are living out. You can see that you have a decreasing population in the city, and you're actually not able to sustain your race. And funny enough, I've been coming to Bhutan 6 years, and you still have 700,000 people. Based on that alone, you will actually will be diminishing because you will have a longer people living and have less population. But I'm not blaming anything, I'm just pinpoint. But I'll explain as we go along. Now, in the past, especially after the first Cold War, we allow liberal democracy, we allow less government intervention and all that so on, which producing some good thing. But of course, as I said earlier, the outcome is really not quite satisfactory. As we know, the business people like to get people together in one place so they can produce things and deliver to the mass, and that produce economic efficiency for them, because they can produce a big quantity and then they don't have to spend too much on transportation. And that's why the idea of influencing the government to build up the big city has been in places. But by doing so, you actually increase the land value of a certain place and actually decrease the land value of the other place. It creates inequality in the way that the people who are raising family for the first time will find it very difficult to buy a little apartment in the city, whereas they come from a place where they can have 5 acres easily and cost nothing. You can see that we are actually going in the wrong direction in that regard already. That's actually is one of the cause of the inequality. This is the cause of the thing that you are talking today. The West is using the 99% as against the 1%. The 1% control 99% of the asset, whereas the 99% of the people hardly earn their decent living in the city. So it is clearly that we can't go on like that. This is, in my little thinking at night, sometimes I felt that could be the reason why we have now the second Cold War. Because we didn't eliminate, if you remember, the first Cold War was something to do with have, not, and have. 30, 40 years later, we're still facing the same thing. It's still a question of have and have not. In other words, the liberal democracy and the liberal economic policy that come with it do not solve the problem. So Marx was very clear that you should support the extended family. And the first thing you should do, you don't break the family. You don't break the family. You keep the family intact. That has to be your center of economic policy. And then you bring the job to them. You don't take them to the job. This is how you keep your community. This is how you keep the people in the place, so they can look after their parents, their grandparents, raising their children efficiently. Um, and when you do that, there is a little politics here. When you keep people in their place, you actually bring sovereignty. How long I have left? You actually bring sovereignty back to the people. Today, you give sovereignty back to the not so good politician and the tycoon. You become a slave of the tycoon. You become something that bad politicians can play you around and about. You lost your sovereignty. But if you bring job back to your village, to your district, your bargaining power is there because that is your home base. You can actually fight capitalism better when you are in your home base. When you actually move into the city, you have nothing. You don't even know your next neighbor. So this is the economic policy that I'm suggesting, but of course I learned from Max Weber. And what else do we have? I mean, it's very clear that going forward, we will have to fight the global warming together. Everyone here has a responsibility and must do their job. We have to be zero carbon footprint by 2050, otherwise we live under the water. You're in Singapore. And that is something that would happen, will happen. I have been following this global warming for the last 25 years. And I have been through so many arguments to the point whereby I can guarantee you that the water will rise from the sea and it will driven us more into the hill. And there won't be enough place for us to live on the hill. So why I'm saying this? Because I was happy that this is happening. I was happy that the global warming happening because it will force people to work together, to unite together, to finish the so-called the division of the people. We are living now by a racial division, class division, and all that so on. Global warming should give us an opportunity to come together and being hallelujah and all that so on. And so this is, I guess, at the end of the day, the liberal economic policy or liberal democracy will need to change its form. The government will have to really intervene, but they really have to have a right concept. They really have to have the right economic policy, and more importantly, they must allow civil society to become their partner in trying to get rid of this division, class division, the discrimination, the inequality, and all that. We can work toward that. Little sadness is that on the 24th of February, we know what happened. We actually go the other way. We drop a parachute on an innocent country, and we kill the people. That actually brings us really backward. I don't know how we get out from here. I really hope that they have sense enough to come together and talk and stop the killing. Thank you very much.